Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this evening's committee meetings. We're going to jump right into it with Public Works. My apologies that we are running a little late. We had an executive session prior to this meeting. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Commissioner Dwight Pedro Lewis, who chairs Public Works. Commissioner?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I call the Public Works Committee meeting to order at 7:40 on Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. Item number one, receipt of monthly reports and citizen committee meeting minutes. We have a full schedule, not only with this meeting, even the building and zoning. So we want to do a thorough job, but if we can be more efficient, we will. And in that spirit, I'm going to move that we accept the monthly reports and citizen committee meeting minutes. July 2026 Highway Department, June 2026 Refuse and Recycling, July 2026 Parks Maintenance Department, July 2026 Streets and Traffic Lights, Fleet Superintendent Report, July's Stormwater Coordinator Report, Shade Tree Advisory Commission, Environmental Advisory Council, and Active Transportation Committee. Are there any questions, comments? Mr. President, I turn it over to you.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the reports. Comments or questions from the board? I see Commissioner Stein with her hand up.
I just have one question. I see on the Parks Maintenance report that the new fence at Thomas Williams was vandalized and has already been repaired, but I'm wondering if we have a way in OpenGov to track costs for labor and materials for vandalism. This may be helpful information when we get to budgeting and the discussion that comes up frequently about whether or not we can do a park guard again. And so I'm wondering if we have a way to track that, if we can get a way to track that, and if we have a way, can we get numbers for budget time?
I'll take that. We do have a way, and we do have figures on some of the vandalism there and the other playgrounds and parks. Most of the expensive repairs were with playground equipment itself. The fence repairs are, they're minimal, but it's still taking man hours and material. But I can get you numbers on that. But boy, I would love to see the park guards again. Some kind of presence from someone in there, because we do have a lot of vandalism, trash, which we've always had, and graffiti and stuff like that. So it would be a beautiful thing to have some presence in these playgrounds and parks.
Okay.
Whatever you guys can do would be great.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dominic. Thank you, Commissioner Stein. Manager Elliott.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Stein, I did want to add, we do have what we're calling the CSS, Community Service Specialists, which are to be serving as a kind of a multi-purpose role, which includes the park guard, parking enforcement, filling in for crossing guards, helping out with special events and things like that. I actually just had a meeting with our police department to ensure that they are being used and deployed appropriately. So we are talking about how that can be a more efficient program so that we can get them out into the parks and help with managing things like vandalism and other concerns that we have in the township. So we should be having a kind of a team of people that we can put out into the community to manage some of these concerns we have.
You. All right. Any other comments or questions from the board on the monthly reports and citizen committee meeting minutes? All right. See none. How about from the public? Any comments or questions there? All right. We have motion on the table. All those in favor of Commissioner Lewis's motion for acceptance, say aye.
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 Thank you. Number two, presentation on the Cheltenham Avenue Corridor Study funded by the Transportation and Community Development Initiative grant through the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission. Who is going to take this? Who's giving the presentation?
That would be me, John Urich from Bowman.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome, John. How long is your presentation?
I know you have a full agenda, and I think the direction I got was keep it quick, about 5 minutes to go through. We have a 3 minute corridor, so I can't promise five, but I'll go through as fast as I can.
All right.
I'll probably fly through some slides, and we can always open it up for questions and answers.
We appreciate that.
Okay. So as somebody that drove this corridor for a lot of years, I was very excited to work on the project. I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia, went to LaSalle High School. So I was, driving for many years. I was a former resident of Cheltenham Township and then Lafayette Hill before moving out to Chester County. So in the years I've been out here, going back to this, the corridor, driving it, studying it, you realize it hasn't changed much in 30 years. There's been a few changes and upgrades, but it's basically the same. And here, let me share my screen. So, all right. You have my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So, the county really led the effort along with Springfield Township and Cheltenham Township. And then we got the city of Philadelphia on board, as well as PennDOT we've been coordinating with, and the city of Philadelphia. But the goal was to look at different reconfigurations of Cheltenham Avenue to improve the overall safety, reduce speeds, and see where we can improve accommodations for non-vehicular traffic, pedestrians, motorists, transit users, and such. So that was our overarching goal and direction for the project. We had a very robust community engagement process. We had an online engagement, our survey, and a mapping tool open for several months. We had 2 large community meetings this past spring. This is the first of 2 public presentations towards the tail end of the project. And then we've also been working with our stakeholders, like the county, the township representatives, PennDOT, SEPTA, those people I mentioned. We had a few meetings with those. We've also been speaking with members of the community and key stakeholders along the corridor as well throughout the process. With the online survey and the mapping submission, we had nearly 700 entries. We got a lot of great feedback. We heard from people all along the corridor and those zip codes, as well as the surrounding area. A few further out zip codes, but that's not a surprise given the prominence of and the importance of Cheltenham Avenue. But we heard a couple positive responses, but generally we heard things like the road's too congested, too wide, it's in disrepair, it's unsafe, they think it's dangerous, they're speeding, and all kinds of great feedback that informed our study and our recommendations. One of the good things, though, we did here is that, which can be a little daunting, people want to change. People don't always like change, but throughout all the responses, people were making suggestions. They were voicing their support for some changes to Cheltenham Avenue. They identified different specific comments related to motor vehicle movement, pedestrian concerns, bicyclists, transit users had their focus in their responses. So we had a whole sort of different feedback, and we identified a couple priority intersections based on the frequency of those issues. To get to the potential alternatives that we have identified through that process and through our study, we are trying to identify alternatives that will address those concerns, make it safer for pedestrians, bicyclists, people walking along the corridor, as well as people driving. Try to reduce some of that aggressive behavior, improve congestion, and then just make sure that the corridor can be transformed into something that's really an asset to the community instead of a barrier or something that people want to avoid driving along. So one of the things that the county in their request, they did want us to look at the feasibility of a 3-lane cross section. Some people may have heard the term road diet. Why? Because some of the benefits are improving safety, reducing crashes and speeds. And in some cases, although you may be taking a 4-lane road to a 3-lane road, by that reconfiguration, you can, in some cases, improve or mitigate congestion. And then when you repurpose some of that leftover space by that lane reduction, you can, improve accommodations for pedestrians, possibly improve sidewalks, pedestrian crosswalks. You can implement traffic calming, potentially a bike lane, or enhance transit stops. So those are some of the things that we're looking at with this study. So along the corridor, this is the existing corridor we have, through the approximately 3-mile section from Paper Mill Road to Ogons Avenue. The cross section of the road changes a lot, as you know. We have a 4-lane right up Paper Mill that transitions to a 3-lane. Then it goes to a 4-lane, which this label is mislabeled. I will change that and get a revised version over to you if you want to post this on the township's website. Then it goes to a 5-lane, and then it drops back down to a 3-lane cross section. So, how can we improve that, make it potentially a little bit more uniform? So that's part of the goal of the study as well. So these are just examples of what those cross sections look like today. And then as we potentially look at a 3-lane cross section along the corridor, so we would transition back to the 4-lane corridor at Paper Mill Road. But, as we approach LaSalle High School and move up, we'd have a 3-lane cross section, probably without a turn lane. And then it would open up as you got towards the high school driveway to have a center turn lane area. That gives us, a little bit of space on each side. As we get to this wider area up, towards Willow Grove Avenue and down to Ivy Hill, we have even more shoulder space to work with. So, we're figuring out what's the best way to do that. So, like I said, we're looking at bike lanes, sidewalks, to try to, fill in that gap. And then, we would transition back and potentially improve the area at the eastern end of the study corridor, which is a 3-lane cross section, but it's 2 lanes in one direction, eastbound, 1 lane westbound. So what we would do, and I have some graphics at the end that I can show you where we would reconfigure that area to provide left turn lanes. So we also identified a hybrid cross section where we would try to implement a road diet through most of the corridor, but areas near like Easton Road, that major intersection, it's carrying a lot of traffic. It serves as a kind of an offshoot from 309 down into the city, into the Chestnut Hill area. So there's a lot of turning movements, there's a lot of activity, a lot of transit users. So, if we want to keep a 5-lane cross section through there, we have an alternative that looks at that. And I'll just show you a couple cross sections that the city suggested that would show a separated bike lane based on the speeds and the traffic volumes along Cheltenham Avenue. Just striping in a painted bike lane isn't the appropriate accommodation for bicyclists. You really want some kind of separation there. So there's an option to do with buffering, with some flexible bollards, or like a higher cost accommodation where you would actually separate them with curb. So we are working that into the final recommendations as well. So these are just a couple cross sections that show, how that would fit. And again, since the road varies, it changes a little bit, the road width, on how you could fit that. And then one of the issues with pedestrian crossings, there are some larger gaps in the corridor where there is no traffic signal, so it's harder for pedestrians to cross Cheltenham Avenue. So we're looking at ways to improve those crossings, get people to other destinations, get them to the other side of the roads if they're taking transit. We do have improvements in place that would identify those crossings and enhance those, make them safer. In terms of intersection improvements, Paper Mill Road, mostly minor geometric changes, mostly signing and some signal improvements here. At LaSalle College High School, we are looking for some lane configuration, providing turn lanes at the frontage, at the site access, taking those two separated driveways, making them a more traditional driveway and signalizing that intersection, get traffic in and out a little bit safer and more efficiently. Waverly Road and Mermaid Lane, we have an option where we're looking at realignment and signalizing, or if that can't be accommodated because there is property required, it would be a two offset signalized intersections. The Cheltenham Trail is also looking for crossing, so this would provide the opportunity to provide a trail crossing that's signalized for that future section of the trail. And then down at Easton Road, we have two alternatives. One, if the road diet, the 3-lane cross section is implemented. One, if you keep the 5-lane. But basically, we're trying to focus in on making the intersection a little bit tighter. There are some channelized right turns on the north side, on the Eastern Road side by the shopping center that funnel you traffic to and from the 309 interchange. That's kind of a high speed movement. We're proposing to get rid of those channelization. You'll still be able to make the right turns. They'll just be more of a traditional intersection right turn, slow traffic down, make it a little bit more comfortable for pedestrians, provide some pedestrian refuge islands in the intersection, and as well as potentially some bus stops at the intersection as well.
Mr. Yerk?
Yes.
This is Matt Orman. Would it be possible to ask questions, or how many more slides do you have? Because I want to make sure that we're
about 10. We can ask questions or we can jump back afterwards. It's up to you.
I prefer that you go through the presentation, but I want to make sure we have time for questions. So if there are either decision points or final conclusions that we should be reviewing, particularly on the Cheltenham side,
right,
I'd appreciate that we get to those so that we could ask some questions.
Sure. Yeah, I'm almost done. Yep. Okay, so this is just the alternative version with the 5-lane cross section. We would just basically lose the bus stop area that's dedicated there. And then as we work our way to the east, the Limekiln Road intersection, we're proposing to put turn lanes in each direction, enhance the pedestrian crosswalks, as well as provide some areas for the bus pull off, and then implement some streetscape and grass buffer areas, make it a little bit more comfortable. Again, there's a lot of pedestrian traffic, with the shopping center, the retail, as well as the SEPTA bus terminal, which is just off the screen here. And then through this section from Vernon to Limekiln, we are showing a concept where we have a lot of driveways on the north side. And I guess, these used to be all different, businesses and different parcels. Over time, the church has, acquired all those parcels. So it's basically one campus, but it's not functioning as a campus. It has multiple driveways, disconnected parking. So, ideally, what we would like to try to do is connect those parking lots and restrict some of the turning movements from all those driveways, make it a little bit safer. Have those driveway movements come out of the signal at Vernon, restrict some of them in here, provide a center left turn lane, so traffic's not turning into the site from a through lane. So that's a kind of a concept for this area, potentially even also providing kind of a alleyway through the back of the parking lots that can connect those driveways as well. And then just a couple other things. Willow Grove, we're looking at some traffic signal optimization and some safety features. At 309, we are looking at, I don't have a concept developed quite yet, but some minor improvements. Right now, that's a very large intersection, as you know. And what we're seeing is we're trying to make the approaches a little bit more intuitive for a driver, because what we're thinking is happening, looking at some of the crash data, is people are a little bit confused. They're making decisions at the last minute. So we're going to recommend some minor signing and striping and improvements to kind of provide a better visual markers for a driver. So hopefully we can avoid some of those incidences and kind of last minute decision making. And as I said, we're looking at some of those bikeway options that the city has recommended just recently.
How much more, Mr. Yurick? We're 15 minutes in.
Sorry about
Yeah.
that. This is the last slide. This is just a quick rendering of the section between roughly Vernon and Limekiln that shows, potentially a center median and like the center left turn lane area where you could, enhance that, this section of the roadway with landscaping and, that access management feature. So that's the presentation. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Sorry it took so long.
That's okay. Mr. President, why don't you go?
Thank you. Mr. Yurick, just a couple of questions. So I sort of followed everything that you put in there. So I guess my first question is, so what happens next? Does this get implemented? Does it have to go for other review? Is this just a suggestion that we're supposed to take on, DOT takes on, PennDOT takes on? What would the next steps be? And then I have one follow-up question.
Sure. So we're going to work with the county to wrap up the report. We're going to have an implementation section in it that's going to basically highlight, what those next steps would be. But basically, this isn't a final design. Nobody's going to take this plan and say, we're building it tomorrow. It's going to have to go through additional engineering, to develop, all the, changes to the corridor. And what's most likely going to happen is maybe you could tackle some of those intersection improvements, here and there over the next few years. And, probably with a lane change for the cross sections, you'd probably do that in sections. You'd probably break that up in sections. It probably wouldn't happen at once. The township could work with the county to go after grant funding for specific projects. But basically, I think you're going to take chunks of this and implement it. It's not going to be start to finish. It's not going to be a project.
So where I see some difficulty is that these intersections sort of cross multiple jurisdictions, right? So
Yes.
I'm not sure the township is going to take on any of these intersections itself. So hopefully there's a plan for some, county cooperation and funding, state cooperation and funding, because I do not see this as being necessarily, while it certainly looks good and could be an improvement, I don't know that this is necessarily going to be the top priority intersections for the township. That's number
Sure.
one. Number two, I don't see it here, but maybe that's not within the scope of your presentation or the task that you took on. But I am extremely concerned about how traffic, because this is a densely trafficked area. Everybody knows how the traffic gets diverted when you reduce the lanes. And my assumption is we will ultimately see increased traffic on Church Road, Greenwood, and Washington Lane, and many other corridors within the township. And I think any further review and discussion is going to need to take into consideration how that traffic gets diverted into our township and what the mechanism for dealing with that would be. Because frankly, taking 5 lanes down to 3 to create bike lanes is really appealing in many respects, but that traffic is going to go somewhere, and I am concerned where it's going to end up.
Sure. Just to respond to your first point, multi-municipal projects are always a little bit more challenging, but we have been working with all 3 municipalities as well as PennDOT through the process. So everybody's aware of it. Everybody's been collaborating with us, and helping us come up with these and reviewing these solutions at a high level today. When we get down into the nitty-gritty design, I'm sure everybody will have some more detailed comments and that sort of thing. But it's been a positive collaboration so far. In terms of the reduction in capacity related to the road diet, we did study that. I did not present that tonight, just for sake of trying to get through the presentation a little quicker. But basically, we did forecast future traffic volumes, and we did analyze the corridor with that 3-lane cross section. And overall, we're seeing minimal reductions or minimal increases in travel times, and overall travel speeds are pretty similar. And going intersection by intersection, the traffic operations of those intersections seem to be very similar to without it. I think today there's a lot of traffic, yes, but there's also a lot of capacity at these intersections today. There are some peak hour issues here and there, but overall, a lot of the intersections have a lot of capacity in them.
Okay.
I have to admit I'm skeptical, but thank you for the response.
Understood.
What are the 3 municipalities that you alluded to?
Cheltenham Township, Springfield Township, and the city of Philadelphia.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Commissioner Stein, thanks for being patient.
With regard to the traffic, I'm wondering if Springfield or PennDOT doesn't have some interesting data, or even the road diet or lane reduction that they did on Bethlehem Pike maybe 3 years ago or so, where they did something similar. And it actually did not seem to slow things down. You stopped having to change lanes every time somebody in front of you decided to make a left.
Yes.
And that actually made things move smoother. I was surprised by that. So I think maybe they have some good information on whether people are also going alternate routes. I just wanted to say thanks for providing the slides in advance. It was helpful to be able to look at them ahead of time. And thank you for all the public engagement ahead of time. I was able to stop in at the 2 public meetings, and they seemed well attended. And it seems like you got a lot of feedback.
Great. Thank you. Yes, we did get a lot of great feedback. A lot of great conversations.
Another quick question before we go to Commissioner Chirico. Do we have funding for this project or pieces of it at this point?
For implementation, not yet. No,
Okay.
That'll be the next step to go after grant funding.
And who's going to do that?
That'll be up to the townships. I think the county would, work with the townships to, help prioritize, projects and, figure out when's the right time to go after a grant and which ones to go after. But we'll make some suggestions in the report as well.
When do you think you would have a final plan?
Um, Ideally, it would have been last month, but we're working hard to wrap up. Hopefully, end of the summer, September-ish.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cherico, and then Commissioner Brockington. Thank you.
You're
Jeff,
on
you're
mute, sir.
muted.
Sorry about that. You took my question, Commissioner Pedro Lewis, but I want to clarify something just because I know Matt asked it and sorry, Commissioner Harriman and Lewis. So the plan is that the townships, the city townships and the city would be working together. But are you saying that we are going to be responsible for the grant writing? We're going to be responsible for facilitating the scoping out the grants and doing all of that, or does the county then step in because we're talking about an intermunicipal? I still don't know that I have a full understanding of how this would work out, because we're not talking to Springfield every day, and so I feel like we need an end and we don't have the bandwidth to be adding additional things. So are we expecting the county to take the lead on making sure that this beautiful project is implemented?
I think probably they would probably be the kind of the cheerleader quarterback for this project. Overall, I think there can be they'll probably facilitate some of those conversations with the municipalities. That would be our recommendation. And, some projects might be broken out. So it could be one municipality or two of the three. And then other projects, might get spearheaded. For example, like the Ivy Hill intersection, or I'm sorry, the Mermaid Lane and Waverly intersection. The Crescent Trail, is, working actively, on their plan. So that project might get tied to something that they want to do. So, along with their plan, that might bring in like Cheltenham Township as part of, the grant process. So it's very dynamic. But I don't think the goal is not to have this report sit on a shelf and collect dust.
Yeah.
We want to try to make it so the municipalities have a plan of action, and whether it's probably going to need to be the county, quarterbacking things.
All right. Well, if the county is quarterbacking it, that's great. If they're cheerleading it, it's not, right?
Yeah. I said cheerleading. I should have said quarterback. Yeah.
So I think maybe we need to talk to a county representative to be able to fully understand how this is moving forward, and especially when it comes to the church that you're talking about, trying to combine parking lots and eliminate, like, that's a complex project that is going to need, a higher level of involvement, because I don't see how we go to the church and say, hey, let's, encourage you to redesign your, and we have to find, it just seems like a beautiful project, but very overwhelming. And I'm hoping that the county is definitely quarterbacking this, but I will drop it there, but thank you.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Brockington.
Yes, thank you. Mr. York, I have a question in reference to the location. How far down Cheltenham Avenue are you taking this project? Cheltenham runs all the way to Tookany Creek, so the east side of the township. Did you end this sort of at Washington Lane or Ogons, or did you go all the way down to Tookany Creek? Because it
ended at Ogons. It was Paper Mill Road to Ogons.
To Ogons.
Yeah. Any
particular reason why we stopped there?
That you'll have to ask the county. That was the limits that were identified in the scope.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. There are definitely issues further down. So that might be the next project.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sure.
Any more questions from the board? How about the public? Any questions, comments? Mr. President, you want to take it away?
I don't think there's any action for us to take at this point. I think Mr. Yurick heard the comments that we provided. I assume he's going to take them back, and
Okay.
we look forward to seeing where this project goes in the future. I assume Mr. Yurick or the county or both will probably be back before us on a future agenda.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
So-
Yurick. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Just
Okay.
to note,
Thank
the traffic volumes and the analysis will be in the report, all that detail in there for you. And with that said, thank you for having me tonight. And
Yep.
have a good night.
Okay.
Thank you for your presentation.
All right, number 3, old business. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve an agreement with Cheltenham Deer Management for the 2026-2027 Deer Management Program. I guess we're Chris. Good to see you. Take it away.
Hi, Commissioner. I tried to do a little legwork from the last meeting. I sent a memo to the commissioners outlining changes that have been implemented, and I did try to obtain the incident report from January 6th, and the Right to Know Act apparently isn't really actually the Right to Know Act because they stiff-armed us on that. And we weren't able to obtain the report. I don't really understand. I didn't anticipate that at all. So it's above my pay grade.
Okay. Board, this is a question to the board. Commissioner Stein, go ahead.
Do we have the new, like the actual text of the agreement? I know it was listed in, I don't know what month that was, last month in July. But at that time we had questions too about whether Sunday would be included because the text seemed to imply that it would be, and there was going to be an update to the text to take Sunday out.
Yeah,
But
Sunday is off the. Yeah, there's no hunting on Sundays. We've never allowed it. That's not, even though the game commission added it, we felt as though the residents need, a Sunday's a Sunday. They should be able to walk freely anywhere in the township.
right. So I'm just wondering if that got updated some way in the text of the agreement that I'm assuming we need to forward to the meeting on the 19th.
Yeah, that will absolutely. Yeah, if that's happening, we'll make it happen before anything gets signed.
I'm sure we'll make sure that the text is and it's attached to the agenda for the board meeting.
Thank you.
So, commissioners, do we have what we need to vote on this agreement? Anything outstanding? Okay. Public, do you have any questions? Mr. President?
Commissioner Lewis, are you making a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve the agreement with the Cheltenham Deer Management for the 2026-2027 Deer Management Program.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions on the motion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris.
Very quick, not related to deer management. Real quick, thank you to Kyle Dermer for getting the floodgate put back in at by the shovel shop.
Okay.
It was missing. As soon as it went, as soon as we had the issue, we had a flood, we had a water rescue. Kyle made that happen. So from a public safety standpoint, thank you very much to Kyle.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any other old business? Commissioner Chirico, you're muted.
Catch on to the Zoom thing one of these days. This has to do with a big props to Public Works for this week continuing to install the speed cushions on Cheltenham Hills. I got a few shout outs as I was walking my dog the other day. So thank you very much, Bo, and everybody for doing that. This is an exciting time for Board 3. I do have a question though about the kind of the dimensions and the kind of the design, I guess, dimensions and design of the these cushions. Are there specific, like, I imagine there are specific dimensions that you use to create those, you know, height and lift or whatever, pitch, whatever it's called. Some people brought to my attention that it seems like some cars are able to fly right over them. You know, sedans are able to just like handle them with ease, and just kind of continue to zoom along, while others like SUVs that I guess are a little bouncier, you know, do slow down. Is that typical? Is that typically expected, or is there, you know, something that we should know about how they operate?
I'll take that, Commissioner. So we size these speed cushions based off of the PennDOT traffic calming handbook. So all the sizes are the same. They're 7 foot by 8 foot, and the height of them is within a window. So it varies, but it's not a catch-all. It's not gonna stop every car, slow down every car. But we work within that window, within that spec.
Okay. So it's expected that some cars, you know, may not be slowed down by this. That's part of, I guess part of it, right? It's not like these were done incorrectly so that they're too low or anything for what we're looking.
So that's what we've noticed, that it's not going to slow down every car. It depends on the height of the car and the speed of the car, but we see that it works more than it doesn't work in that case.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't have any other questions. Thanks.
Okay. Is there any other old business? Commissioners, public? Okay. Moving on to new business, 4A. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve an addendum proposal for Bowman to complete preliminary engineering, final design, and construction observation tasks for the Tookany Creek Trail TASA project in the amount of $667,300. Mr. President, I move that we approve this, but I'll turn it over to you for questions and comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Lewis has a motion on the table. Do we have any comments or questions from the board on this recommendation? Commissioner Stein.
I'm just wondering, was this covered by the grant that we already have? How are we paying for this?
A good question. Manager Elliott.
Yeah, so we held off on this. It is largely paid for by the grant or covered by it. But we held off on this because we had submitted an application for a $400,000 grant through DVRPC, and we didn't want to jeopardize the potential that we could fund even more of this project through that grant funding source. But weren't successful in that, but we have $2.3 million worth of grant funding already. So yes, there will be some of it will be covered through other grant funding sources, just not as much as we had hoped.
Is there any matching funds here from the township?
Yes, I want to say off the top of my head, it's 80-20, but I can confirm that.
Okay.
So, Manager Elliott, I don't mean to press you and maybe you have to get back to us, but just to follow up on Commissioner Stein's question. So we have $2.3 million for the entirety in grant money for the entirety of the project. This is one component of the project, correct? So do we have an idea of what the whole project costs, what we have covered by grants and what we don't? Because I'm not sure that I sort of have a good feel for what of the $667,000 would be covered by grants and what we're going to have to fund out of our budget.
I'll follow up with you separately with an email with more detail on that. I apologize, I haven't been fully involved in this project, but we'll get those numbers for you. Yeah,
that's okay. I think it'll be helpful to have that information for the board meeting.
Absolutely, we will have that for you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Stein. Other questions from the board? Okay. Questions from the public? All right, seeing none. All in favor of the motion to consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the addendum proposal for Bowman to complete preliminary engineering, etc., in the amount of $667,300. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. 4B, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve a proposal from Loftus Construction in the amount of $34,000 to perform emergency repairs on the pedestrian bridge at Ralph Morgan Park. Mr. President, I move that we approve the proposal.
Elliot, do you or Ms. Brinker perhaps have some detail on what precipitated this request for expenditure and what it is that we need to be doing here?
Yeah, I can jump in on that, Commissioner.
Thanks.
A few weeks ago, Bob Dominic was alerted that some of the deck boards on the pedestrian bridge that connects Ralph Morgan Park to the Jenkintown train station were starting to sag. Me and Bob went under, we did an inspection. What we found is the overall structure is in good shape. However, the stringers that support all of the floorboards they're starting to rust through and they have given way in some spaces. Bob did do some temporary repairs there with lumber. It's all supported right now. The bridge is safe. Yeah. We have Loftus Construction working right around the corner on the Waverly Road Bridge, county project. Called one of their top guys over to give us some advice on everything. You know, he put together a proposal of emergency work to get this bridge back in good shape. And that's what's in front of you today. We did price getting a new bridge as well. The purchase price alone would be $140,000. And then there would also be furnished install in front of it. So this is money well invested in my mind, but ultimately decisions up to you.
Thank you, Mr. Coyle. That excellent report on that, and much appreciated. And both for you and Mr. Dominic and the fast work in getting folks who are sort of already in the township to take a look at the emergency repair potential. Commissioner Stein.
Sorry, I've left the questions. But is this the bridge closer to Greenwood Avenue or the one closer to the tracks?
This is the one closer to the tracks that connects to the playground.
Okay. And then is the other one in good shape?
Yeah, we did look at the other one as well. That's in good shape.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
The overall bridge itself, the structure is in good shape. It's the stringers that support the decking. So, I mean, the foundation's there. They did inspect all the footings and everything. Everything looks good, but the steel that actually holds the boards up that you walk on is what's rusting through and needs to be replaced.
Okay. The water level likely gets higher up towards the tracks. It's narrower there than down further. Wonder if that has an impact on the rusting. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Stein. Commissioner Shermy Walls.
Just for education purposes, mainly a question for Manager Elliott. This sort of like unforeseen emergency funding comes from our capital budget, and where I believe we have a little bit of a buffer, but obviously would like move a few projects around. I mean, this is a nominal cost compared to some of the other stuff, but that is correct, right?
Yes, it'll come from projects that we're not using right away, or projects that maybe have come in. Sometimes they do come in under budget, so we will shift things around to make sure that this project is done.
Okay, thank you.
I'll jump in on that too. We're doing pretty well on our contracted services through the Parks Department, so we're going to use that to fund it to begin with. We'll see where the rest of the year goes with it, but to start, it'll be coming out of operating.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, everybody. Any other questions from the board? How about the public? Seeing none. All right. All those in favor of recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the emergency repairs in the amount of $34,000, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Thank you. Commissioner Lewis.
Yes. 4C, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve a resolution authorizing the submission of a grant in the amount of $728,743 under the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Multimodal Transportation Fund to replace the Glenside Avenue culvert. Who wants to speak to that before we?
I can speak to that, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the Glenside Ave Bridge culvert is a project that's been ongoing. We've done some sidewalk repairs previously, and therefore we've been currently going through the design process with Bowman. We had received a grant for $250,000 for the design, and last year we received an additional 750. However, that doesn't cover the full amount for the construction, which would be around 2 million. So we are applying again for another a little over 700 or 728,000 to help offset those costs.
Okay. Commissioner Walls? Thank you.
Ms. Brinker, when do we anticipate that this round of DCED funding would be announced?
Usually it's early next year. Yeah, the multimodal tends to be a little later than the other grant programs that they have. So which will kind of coincide. Bowman anticipates having the design done in early 2027. So if we could get, notice of this funding, that would be perfect timing, as they say.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then just for everyone's radar, if we could get an update on where we stand with our getting our audits updated for DCED, that would be appreciated in a forthcoming meeting. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, any other questions? Commissioners, public? Mr. President, I move that we approve the submission of a grant in the amount of $728,743 under the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Multimodal Transportation Fund to replace the Glenside Avenue culvert.
Thank you for the motion, Commissioner Lewis. Other comments or questions? How about from the public? All right. I'll just say that this is a sorely needed grant, and I appreciate all the work that's gone into it. I remember going with Bo to look at the underside of this culvert bridge, and I recall that in one part it's being held up by a old street sign. So we really need to move on this. So thank you, everybody. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank
Commissioner
you.
Lewis, thank you.
4D, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners award a contract to Eagle Contracting and Landscaping in the amount of $399,000, $725. I selected the wrong career for the Carroll Avenue Stormwater Improvement Project.
I'll take that one, Commissioner.
Go ahead,
Thank
sir.
you. We've been working with GFT with the bid documents for the Carroll Ave Road and stormwater improvements. If you remember, we've received a grant from Montgomery County Conservation District for this project. We're working with them. We received 8 bids for this, and they range from the $399,000 all the way up to $630,000. So we're glad that we go with the lowest bidder. Mr. Phillips and his team have checked out Eagle Contracting, and they have heard good things, and their paperwork seems to be in order. So at this time, we would recommend that the commissioners award the contract to Eagle.
Where's the money coming from?
So this was in the budget under the stormwater, and we've received a grant.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Phillips, did you want to add anything to this?
No, I think Sam took care of everything there.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. President, I move that the Board of Commissioners award a contract to Eagle Contracting and Landscaping in the amount of $399,725 for the Carroll Avenue Stormwater Improvements Project.
Thank you for the motion, Commissioner Lewis, and special thanks to Ms. Brinker and everybody else who worked on this project. This was something that, like a year or so ago, was not on anyone's radar. It sort of came up through a resident, and it was immediately recognized that it was an important stormwater project to address, and Sam just really did a great job in both getting the grant and managing the project all the way up to this point. So thank you very much. Are there comments or questions on the motion to recommend this item?
I have a quick question. What's the timeline associated with this, Samantha?
Yeah, so actually, just to follow up on Mr. Armand, it was the very first site visit I did was to Carroll Ave. So it will be bittersweet, to get this completed. And so, Commissioner Lewis, we received the grant in January, and we have a year to spend the money. So with awarding the bid in August and the contractors submitting their paperwork in a timely fashion, we hope to go to construction in September. And we do have a letter prep to send to the residents along Carroll Ave so that they're aware of what's going to happen. And then we anticipate the completion at the end of the year. However, sometimes due to weather, it gets too cold to do the final pavement. And that would have to be in the spring, but everything else would be buttoned up except for that final paving. But that's weather dependent.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. President?
Yep. Any other questions from the board? How about from the public? All right, seeing none. All in favor of the motion to recommend the Board of Commissioners award the contract to Eagle Contracting and Landscaping in the amount of $399,725 for the Carroll Avenue Stormwater Improvement Project, say aye.
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 Thank you, Mr. President. 4E, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners award a contract to Dano Enterprises, Inc. in the amount of $31,334.40. That's 54 cents per bag to purchase biodegradable paper leaf and grass collection bags between September 2nd, 2016 and August 31st, 2027.
Yeah.
Well, how much do we sell these?
Typo.
Is that a typo?
I think
I
that's
think so.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be September 2nd, 2026.
Oh, yeah. 16. Wow. Okay. Good catch, guys. So you didn't fall asleep. So that's good. Bo, how much do we pay 50 for? How much do we sell them for?
Allison, do you know what we're at right now? I know we had changed it a year or so ago.
I don't know where we are, but I think we're pretty close to what it is. We can reevaluate, and we usually do if our fee does not cover the cost, and we can update the fee schedule.
Yeah, and this is actually just to comment on it, it's a reduction of cost on what we're paying right now. Currently, with the current company, we're at 62 cents, so an 8-cent reduction for the leaf bags.
Excellent. All right.
Good negotiating.
Yeah. Okay. I recommend, Mr. President, I recommend that the Board of Commissioners award a contract to Dano Enterprises in the amount of $31,334.40 to purchase biodegradable paper leaf and grass collection bags between September 2nd, 2026 and August 31st, 2027. Mr. President?
Well done, Commissioner. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none. How about from the public? All right.
I want to give Mr. Dermott his props again because he put together this bid for us. So thank you, Kyle.
Great job, Mr. Dermer.
Thank you.
Saving us, what is it, 8 cents a bag? That's good stuff right there. So thank you. And we know we need them and we use them. So much appreciated. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, 4F, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution granting conditional approval and associated waivers for CTDA 26-05, preliminary and final subdivision application for 300 Ashbourne Road, Cheltenham, PA 19012, subdividing 112-acre parcel consisting of a building known as the Shovel Shop and parkland known as Tookany Creek Park into 3 lots. Lot 1, 5.43 acres of parkland north of Tookany Creek Parkway. Lot 2, 6.37 acres of parkland south of Tookany Creek Parkway. And Lot 3, 0.27 acres near the intersection of Tookany Creek Parkway and Ashbourne Road, which contains a building known as the Shovel Shop, with lots 1 and 2 in the R-1 residential district and lots 3 in the R-3 residential zoning district. Wow. Okay. Anybody want to talk about that?
I
Yeah.
can. Yeah, I know that was a mouthful. This is part of this and a letter G below are part of our kind of facilities management plan. As you notice, the parkland and the building are being divided into 3 different parcels. They're being divided kind of along the natural division of the properties, also along the zoning, natural zoning districts of the properties as well, which enables us to better manage these properties moving forward.
Does these changes affect, doesn't the Shovel Shop have historical status, or am I mistaken?
It does, yes.
So does these changes impact that historical status at all?
It does not, no.
Okay. I'll continue on with questions before we make the recommendation, the motion. Commissioner Brockington, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Allison, just for the public's knowledge, could you give us a short synopsis on the condition of the Shovel Shop?
The Shovel Shop is currently not operational. It's kind of a vacant building for the township. It's basically run as a basic facility with the utilities turned on just to make sure that it's not all the pipes are in good condition and things like that. But it's not actively in use by the township.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Stein.
In reading the county's comments, it looks like they would very much like us to establish right-of-ways for any future traffic or trail work. Have we done that?
So
yes, that was, I could take that. Yes, that was incorporated in the original plan. And there's an area in front of the Shovel Shop where we've widened the existing right-of-way. And the other right-of-ways are just, we're set at the current default ordinance right-of-ways of, I believe they're 60 feet. And any future intersection improvements then, we kind of have to wait and see what the improvements be to set those further right-of-ways. But we did take into account a potential trail in front of the Shovel Shop.
Okay.
If I can add, the timing is very good. Since we're in the process of planning for the section between Ashbourne and Ashmead, we really made sure that we were giving plenty of access for that property be used as a trail connection if need be.
Okay, thank you. We should think about how that building can be used for along with the trails as well, but I'll just leave that there.
Thank you. Commissioners, anyone else? Ms. Cashmar? Good evening.
Can you hear me?
We can,
Yep.
Maria.
Thank you all very much. And thank you, Emily, for your comments on the potential forward view of the Shovel Shop. I think that we have an obligation as a community to preserve our historical aspects and reuse them, repurpose them. And this is a facility that has been long backburnered. And I think that there are many opportunities that we could pursue to make this a viable commercial opportunity, particularly given its presence at the midpoint of the Tookany Trail. I think that I think it has been misused or mothballed for entirely too long. I'm trying to find words that are appropriate, gentlemen and ladies, but I will stop there. But I will say that I think that there are opportunities that should be pursued before I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson?
Yes, hi, thank you. Tom Peterson. I was wondering if, in interest of full disclosure, if you are, as a township, planning on selling the shovel shop. That was not clear at all from this presentation.
Right now.
Who wants to take that?
I don't think any decisions have been made.
Yeah,
in that
no
regard.
decision. Yeah, I would say right now,
Discussed it.
no decision has been made at all, Tom.
So would there be public input into that final decision? Or is this like a stepwise moving to sell the shop without getting public input?
We would give full disclosure like we always do.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Peterson. Any other comments? Mr. President, I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt the resolution granting conditional approval and associated waivers for CTDA 26-05 preliminary and final subdivision applications for 300 Ashbourne Road.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. Any additional comments or questions from the board or the public on this item? I heard some feedback already. All right, seeing nothing additional, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, 4G, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution granting conditional approval and associated waivers for CTDA 26-06 preliminary and final lot consolidation application for 7420 Sycamore Avenue, Elkins Park, consolidating 3 parcels into 1.596 acre parcel containing the Lamont Community Center. Anybody want to speak to that? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
jump in again. So as we've been working with this property, it has come to our attention that it's actually 3 different parcels. So we're looking to consolidate it, which makes it easier for handling zoning and land development issues, which we are currently undergoing. So while we were doing shovel shop, we added consolidation of these lots into one. I don't see any reason why we would want to sell off some of these smaller parcels off the existing land. So it just made more sense to do that.
What will be done with the after the consolidation? What will be done with that land?
Nothing. It has been and will continue to be part of the Lamont Community Center grounds.
Okay. Okay. Mr. President, I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution granting conditional approval and associated waivers for CTDA 26-06 preliminary and final lot consolidation application for 7420 Sycamore Avenue.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. Comments or questions from the board on the motion? All right, seeing none. How about from the public? Additional comments, I should say, from the public. Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for all in favor to say aye.
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 Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis.
Any announcements? Commissioners, any announcements for the month of August? Joe Stucker.
I'll wait for the commissioners.
No.
Yeah, you went up first and I missed Commissioner Cherico.
No. I will.
No, let the commissioners go.
We'll defer to Mr.
Right.
Stuckert.
Yeah, I will defer to Mr. Stucker.
Okay. I just wanted to let the commissioners and the public know that I received information the other day from Alan Myers, the contractor who's doing the Church Road project, that there will not be a direction change with traffic. We've been working with them on that it's going to continue to go the same direction it is with just some lane shifting. So the traffic will still be heading eastbound and southbound throughout the remainder of the project. That will cause a couple days where they'll need to close Greenwood Avenue and detour in order to get a pipe across. It'll be about 20 feet deep, but that should be less than a week of detour to get around that. But again, we felt that not changing the traffic with the amount of problems and that occurred with the initial change, not changing it again would be a help to the community and the public and everybody else using the roads. So PennDOT has agreed to, they've looked at it and agreed that that would probably be the best course of action. So I just wanted to make everybody aware of that moving forward on that project.
Thank you. Mr. President.
Can I just ask a question about that to Mr. Stuckert? The residents along Greenwood, do they know about that upcoming, week-long-ish closure of Greenwood? How will they be notified if they don't know?
Yeah, that PennDOT should be notifying them or their contractor. So it'll be, they're still planning that because again, this is kind of a shift in what they had to do. But they looked at is the 1 week, they're saying anywhere from 2 to 5 days, depending on what they run into and weather. And because it's 20 foot deep, they're looking at right now, they're trying to fit it in between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. during the typical closure times. It will not be a week-long closure, but more during the day is what they're looking at to have less impact. They didn't want to do another, 4-day closure like they did with the last one. So they were they're trying to work this one in a 9 to 3 time period each day.
Okay, and if they're detouring Greenwood, can we see that? Like if we have to approve a detour or something for that, can we see that?
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be an approval process on that. Most likely, honestly, it's going to go down Rice's Mill Road. When I talk to them, they're looking in bringing multiple flaggers in and stationing them along Greenwood Avenue and restricting it to local traffic only. I mean, we know with any detour, people are going to try to go down there anyway. But in talking with them, that they are going to try to stage multiple flaggers at different locations coming right off of 309 at Rice's Mill and then further down to deter people from even trying to go down that way because they will not be able to get through. So that's the planning they're doing now. They haven't come up with that full plan since PennDOT has just made that decision not to switch the traffic.
Okay, we just need to keep in mind how they're planning to get traffic back onto Church Road going eastbound.
Yeah, like I said, they would like to keep them going up, Ogons Avenue to Cheltenham Avenue, actually taking the detour. But people that turn down there, as we know they do now, it's most likely going to be Rice's Mill Road to Church Road is what a lot of people are probably going to end up doing, for that time period.
Thank you.
Okay, you good, Commissioner Stein? Okay, Commissioner Armand, Commissioner Cherico, and then
we can let Commissioner Cherico go.
Okay, you're muted.
I kept on hitting it in one of it. I was just going to say that I believe the bids are due tomorrow. For Lamont, I believe tomorrow is the last day for those bids. So it was open for an extra week, I guess. So we could answer some questions, or the architects could answer some questions about from the contractors. So we're excited to, I think, see something later this month. But yeah, good news there. That's all I wanted to announce.
Thank you. Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Lewis, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to take the opportunity during the announcement section of this meeting to provide some brief commentary on what is a popular topic of conversation throughout the township on social media, and that is the Conklin Pool and the development of a new pool at the Melrose Country Club site. As everybody knows, there have been decisions discussed and made. There is some litigation. So I'll start with the litigation. We as a board do not comment on pending litigation. And while we respect every resident's right to seek relief in courts, it appears, at least to me, that this lawsuit reflects the views of a small number of individuals opposed to the Melrose development in general and is not reflective of the community as a whole. This board will not allow the preferences of a handful of opponents to outweigh the interests of the broader Cheltenham community, which we believe we represent in our decision-making process. Generally, about the Conklin Pool, every commissioner on this board understands the emotional connection residents have to Conklin Pool. We share it. For generations, it's been where families learn to swim, where children meet with friends during the summer, and memories are created. Our obligation, however, is to make financially responsible decisions that are operationally sustainable, and decisions that are in the best long-term interests of the township. Years of public facilities planning, engineering analyses, and public discussion over the course of at least a decade have led us to this conclusion. And while residents may reasonably disagree with the outcome of our decision, this has been nothing but a deliberate public process focused on ensuring that Cheltenham continues to provide high-quality recreational amenities for future generations. The issue is not whether Conklin in and of itself is beloved. It is. The issue is that that facility has reached the end of its useful life. As evidenced in publicly available township documents, presentations, meeting records, etc., the need to address Conklin Pool's condition has been under discussion since at least 2016. As recently as the 2023 Township Facility Study, which was commissioned by the board, ultimately received by the board from its architects who are working on various facilities projects, including currently the Lamont Community Center. The analysis and report suggests that the renovation of Conklin Pool, and I'll explain what that means, would cost the township between $3.2 and $4.3 million. And it's important to understand that renovation doesn't mean, oh, we could just fix it and then it's going to be great. Renovation means, and this study is specific, that the renovation would only bring the facility into code compliance. Right now, it's out of compliance. Would bring the facility into code compliance and would not significantly extend its useful life. A new pool at the Conklin site it's suggested in that report, would cost the township upwards of $8 million, which might not be feasible considering our budget. Certainly wouldn't be feasible anytime soon. The proposal that has been put out there and the announcement of a new pool at the Melrose development site is not simply fixing an old pool that's exceeded its lifespan. Through this partnership, we will be delivering a modern recreational pool, a dedicated lap pool, a kiddie pool, new locker rooms, accessible facilities, energy efficient systems, lower long-term operating costs, and expanded programming opportunities. And let me just dispel some of the misinformation that exists out there, again, mostly on Facebook, but it permeates beyond that. This would be a state-of-the-art municipal pool facility, number one. Number two, it will be owned and operated by the township. It will not be owned, it will not be operated by any other entity, including the developer, including any other private entity. It will be owned and operated, programmed, run, managed by the township, by township staff. It will be built for a fraction of the cost to replace Conklin in its current form. It will be built using prevailing wage building. And we recognize we have a need to revisit the facilities planning process that we engaged in and continue to review from time to time. And when we do that, and we anticipate doing that soon, we will be addressing what happens with the Conklin site. That has not been decided, but we need to decide what to do with it. And that will be, again, as we have done, publicly discussed, solicitation of feedback, just as we've done with all of our facilities discussions over the course of the last several years. This project represents a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and a once-in-a-generation investment that replaces the concept of continuing to spend taxpayer dollars maintaining an obsolete, albeit beloved, infrastructure in its current location. I just wanted to put that out there to clear up some of the record, to make sure that the misinformation that's being circulated is hopefully dispelled, and give a better understanding of where the Board of Commissioners stands on this matter. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your indulgence. I'm sure there will be comments. Citizens Forum is coming up next. Everyone will have an opportunity to provide any comments that they so desire in this regard. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, we are now moving into Citizens Forum. I would ask that if you have any comments, we want to hear from you. You'll have 3 minutes. In most cases, we will not be able to answer tonight, but please share your comments, and at the appropriate time, we will respond. In that spirit, does anyone have any questions? We are now open for Citizens Forum. Mr. England, thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Commissioner. That all sounds nice, Matt. It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal for us. It's a bad deal looking into the future. We have a beautiful piece of land that would require the construction of a new pool. But it would be our land, and we would have space where it could be upgraded over time. It's like a park there. You're wanting to put us into the middle of a new development through a no-bid contract that was announced on July 1st and passed unanimously 2 weeks later. There was no public hearing, and the responses that we're getting from commissioners is really quite disappointing. This is a serious matter. This is an asset that the community owns, and while you were elected to represent the community, I don't think you're doing a good job on this one. We do have in our history what happened through privatization. Now, before you tell me this isn't privatization, placing us in the middle of a new development that'll go on the brochure of the home sale, community with a pool, that's not a good move. And I disagree with the way you characterized it, and I think you're wrong. I don't think it's just a handful of people. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. England. Just one comment. this is not privatization, right? This is township-owned land adjacent to a township green space in a mixed-use community that's going to have retail space, medical offices, trails, access. So the notion that this is privatization is just plain false. You certainly are entitled to, anyone is entitled to their opinion that maybe you don't agree with the decision of the board, but frankly, the facts are the facts. And the facts are this is not privatization.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson.
Yes, thank you. Tom Peterson. I'm a long-term resident. I live in the Roland Park area. I'm also a volunteer for the past 15 years at the Roland Community Center, Elkins Park Library, and now the Roland Summer Camp in Chess. So I'm not just a thorn in your side. I'm doing a lot of volunteer work for the township.
Thank you.
I'm here to speak out strongly against this ground lease. I was on a meeting in March of this year when it was still being called a township amenity, and that when I said pool, I was corrected several times that it's a township amenity. So this is March. We're now in August, a few months later. So there was no opportunity to comment on the potential use of this land within the Melrose Enclave as a pool. As Bill England said, the ground lease was announced on July 1st and passed unanimously on July 15th. It commits the township to $4.5 million in a no-bid contract with the developer to build a pool. In the documents that were voted on, there was a one-page sketch of what the pool facility would look like. And once the ground lease was signed, that committed the developer to a 30-day window or clock to produce design and construction drawings for this pool. And then the township has up to 14 days, only 14 days, to either approve or disapprove of those construction plans. So those are a couple of my objections. Another objection, as I've stated several times to this group, the size will be quite diminished from about 200,000 square feet that we have at Conklin down to 125,000 square feet for this new parcel. And this new parcel had originally been on Ashmead, and now it was moved over to closer to Cheltenham Elementary and reduced in size substantially, also with very little to no input on the movement of that parcel, the shrinking of that parcel to the interior of the development. It will be behind a shopping center at the interior of a high-end development. I do not think it's going to be nearly as welcoming as the Conklin pool to the township residents. Another thing I want to add,
Peterson, I apologize, but your 3 minutes is up. If you want to make another point, I'll allow you to do that. Do it expeditiously.
Yes. So my last point is that I understand that there were maintenance figures or costs of about $200,000 in 2016. So if you bring that up to present day costs, let's say we're talking about $400,000 to repair the Conklin pool. I understand what you're saying. There's some new figures. I'd be curious what those two sets of figures entail. But I saw figures of $200,000 to repair the Conklin pool. Thank you very much.
Yeah. If I may, Mr. Chairman, just Mr. Peterson, thank you for your comments. I'll direct your attention to the 2023 facility study from KCBA and revision that talks about the estimated costs for improvements, reconstruction, et cetera, to the pool.
Okay.
And that's available on the township website.
Thanks, Mr. President. Sam Thacker, I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I'm Sam Thacker. I live at on Woodlawn Avenue, just off of Ashbourne. Um, there are two kind of facets of this issue that are really problematic, in my opinion. One is the unbid contract and all of the risks that you unanimously committed the township residents to. Signing a contract with a single entity LLC that could just be gone, dissolved by the time the thing is finished. Signing a $4.5 million commitment and touting those cost savings when you've put forward no plan to pay when is the transfer fee going to be paid? Is it next year when the pool is complete? Do we have the money to pay that then? Because if not, we're making essentially like interest payments or lease payments of $302,500 a year that doesn't even go toward the principal. So I'm curious, what will this actually cost if it moves forward in this unlawful form of an unbid construction contract? And then secondly, and perhaps more troublingly in my opinion, is just the complete and utter lack of transparency with which this decision has been made. I recognize and I understand that people will say the polls have been under discussion for years and years. I understand that. I've been a part of those discussions. And what really came out of the 2023-24 discussion when a hybrid plan was settled on was that people really are attached to Conklin and Glenside. And it seems insane to me that the commissioners would think that they could not bring this decision before residents at all before announcing it as a done deal. And moreover, I'm wondering what you have to say for yourselves in terms of the glaring gap that exists between the documentary record of what the township's intentions were this parcel on the Melrose Enclave, namely in December, because the developer says in the zoning appeal document from March 4th that the township always had the intention of building a municipal pool there. That said, as late as that March 4th meeting, you guys were saying explicitly that that no decisions had been made, and you were actually like talking down to residents and correcting them as you were referring to a municipal amenity and no decisions have been made. We don't know. We're not talking about a pool here. We're talking about a municipal amenity. So you guys have two things really that are pretty problematic, I'd say here, and I haven't heard any good answers to either of them this evening.
Okay, thank you. Miss Jerry Brown, before you ask your question, I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. You got one coming up. You're going to be 25 again. Anyway, yes. Two quick questions. Can anyone give me an update? One of our board members had put in an application for a speed bump for Keenan Street. And she said she had went through the process and she hasn't heard anything. Can anyone give me an update on that?
Hey, Ms. Brown?
Yeah.
I don't recall getting anything on Keenan Street. Can you reach out to me about that or have her reach out to me? Because that was okay. Go through me and I don't have anything. I don't know who she reached out to. But
yeah, that's what I was
Keenan
told.
I know that's a very small street.
Yeah. She said it was approved and everything, but nothing's happened.
It was approved? Have her reach out to me because I know nothing about that at all. Okay? Yeah,
because she probably could tell you more. She's working, so she couldn't.
Okay. Have her reach out to me.
Okay, thank you. And the second one is a neighbor called me tonight on my birthday about the playground, and I'm sure it's going to be cleaned up, but the area where the children are with the weeds and the stuff that's there, is that we have our community day next week, so I know it's going to be cleaned up, right?
You mean the playground at the community center? Is that what you're?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it will be, but it's worth putting it in their email.
Yeah, she said mainly the area over there where the children play. It's like
we'll take a look at that and make sure it's ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let them know. I don't even know how she got my phone number, but it's okay. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
That's it.
Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, I hope I pronounced it correct. Greetings. Welcome, Marlesa Hall, or at least Marlesa Hall. Hello. Greetings.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to turn off my microphone. Apologies. Hi, yeah, my name is Marlisa Hall, and I live on Maple Ave in Winco. And just another question about the pool. I'm just trying to get an understanding of everything. And I know there's been a lot of discussion about this being an unbid contract. And I guess my question is, I was just kind of listening into the whole meeting, and I recall that for the $400,000 stormwater project, there were 8 bids that were submitted before settling on one. So I guess one of my questions is, why would for a multi-million-dollar project be approved with with really no bids, with just the first contractor. I mean, I know this has been under discussion for a while, and there have been some ideas of costs. I guess the latest was 2023, but it would just seem that for a project this expensive, there would be multiple bids before settling on one. So again, just for my understanding, that's the kind of question I'm putting forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Abby Gunn. Abby Gunn. Daria, did you have your hand up a couple times?
I'm so sorry, you guys. I was talking and I didn't hit my unmute button. This is Abby. I apologize.
Go ahead.
Thank
Go,
you.
Abby.
Hey, I'm Abby. I'm over on Girard Ave. Just wanted to also voice my concerns about the process behind the Conklin Pool decision, more specifically the land lease decision itself. Newer resident to Elkins Park, only been here about 5 years. Love it here. Love Conklin. It's been one of my favorite parts of living up here, but that is not my issue here. If there's issues with Conklin, I totally understand that. I can get behind that. My issue remains that given the size of a decision like this, again, 4.5 million, the lack of transparency behind it, the lack of public engagement behind it, even when I reach out to council folks and ask for more transparency around the actual decision-making process of going with the land lease at Melrose, that still has not been made clear to us at this point. I get a lot of information about how many conversations there's been about Conklin over the years, et cetera, et cetera. Totally understand that. That's fine. Just looking for more transparency and more answers around how this decision could be made with a lack of public engagement. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Daria, is your hand up, or are you done? You want to speak? It's been up and down.
No, I don't want to speak. I
Okay.
think that we have had so much public engagement, and I'm actually thrilled by the amount of public engagement that we had this evening. So I am going to pass.
Okay. Thank you. We are still in we are still into the residents forum. Does anyone have anything they want to share? Any comments? Any questions? Anyone? Okay. I don't see anything else in citizens forum, Mr. President.
We have a number of questions in the chat. People are having trouble raising their hand, but Paula Wolf would like to speak, I can see.
Okay. Paula, where are you? Paula Wolf?
Paula, can you unmute your video or unmute your...
Did I unmute now?
Yeah, unmute, please.
Did it work?
We can hear you, Miss Wolf.
Okay. I've been a resident of the village since '98, and I've watched it deteriorate over the years. However, I'm going to live there until I die. That's all I wanted to say. But I noticed that it seems that, Roland Community Center, the library is gone. The only thing left we have is the Conklin Pool, which everyone knows is a beautiful pool with the way they've revamped it over the years. I'm talking about the area around it, the nature part. But my concern is, why is there no upkeep with Rolling Community Center? Why did it get to that point where we couldn't have heat for our kids to go there in the winter for just a library? Why does there no upkeep to the pool at Conklin when the other pools are upkept? I don't understand why they let it get to this state. And I agree with everybody else that said in the beginning, this has been done so poorly. I'm just ashamed of the township. I really am.
Oh.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
I won't respond as a citizen.
I don't understand why there's no preventive maintenance done to prevent this. If you knew since 16 or whatever, and you also stated that it's not up to code compliance. So are the children safe swimming there? What do you mean it's not up to code compliance? How could it be open? So it's it just gives out very poor messages. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wolf. Any other citizens want to share any comments? You don't have to raise.
I would actually like to share a comment.
All right, just go ahead. You don't have to raise your hand if you can't find it.
Thank you. Commissioners, I think you do an absolutely amazing job with the budget that you are granted. And I think that there is some degree of lack of understanding for where people need to express their aggravation, their frustration, and it should not be at you or our commissioners.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lewis, I think there's a Mary that would like to make a comment. She's said so in the chat, but she doesn't know where her hand is.
Okay, she could just raise her physical hand or just start talking. Mary? Mary, where are you?
I thought she just did.
Was that Mary that just spoke?
I thought that was Mary who just. No, that wasn't.
Sorry.
Okay. Anyone? Okay. Well, at this point, if there's no other comments, Mr. President, I move that we adjourn the Public Works Committee meeting at 9:22 p.m.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.